Hi, I'm Caitlin and welcome to Cats and Horror and Stitching. My pronouns are she, her, and this is a channel where we talk about cross-stitching and a little bit of knitting now, and my cats. You can see one right over here. That's Moon over here, the kitten. And also my love of horror, which you can see I'm wearing my It shirt today, or sweater. It's been a while. Sorry about that. I keep making excuses for why I'm not making videos. Yeah, I just get busy, and then when I finally have the downtime to film a video, I tend to be tired. But yeah, it's March 16th, so I managed to wrangle some energy. We're gonna film a Flosstube. I have a lot to show you. I said the last time I didn't stitch on a whole lot the last time, but I made pretty good progress on on a few projects, whereas this time I did not make much progress on anything, but I worked on a lot of different things. So I'm going to show you everything that I worked on. I don't really have any haul at all. I've been really good about not buying anything except for the occasional floss that I might need for a project. I have bought, actually, it's not true haul. I haven't bought any haul related to creating anything, but I, of course, go thrifting pretty much every weekend, sometimes more often than that. And so I do have some thrifting cross-stitch related haul to show you. So yeah, I have worked on a lot of stuff. I still feel like I didn't get a ton done this month. So if you follow me on Instagram, I'm at Cats and Horror and Stitching Oh My, and you'll know that yesterday, March 15th, was my 40th birthday. Woohoo! Right? No, I don't mind that, I'm 40. It doesn't really bother me. But I posted a bunch of pictures from a birthday party I had last weekend. So it was organized, planned, and everything by me, but hosted at a friend's house, and I had a lot of friends show up. I wanted to throw a really nice party for myself for my 40th, so I made it a 1920s flapper theme, and we all got dressed up and had lots of good food and lots of drinks. One of my good friends played bartender and made a whole bunch of gin cocktails. And yeah, it was really a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to get dressed up and see friends. I had a couple friends come in from out of town who I haven't seen in a while, and it was really wonderful. So yeah, a good way to enter my 40s. So I will talk a little bit. I have a new start from, well, maybe I should show that one first. I put it on the bottom of my pile because it was the last thing I worked on, but it is a new start, so maybe I'll talk about it first. So my new start, which is my birthday start, I decided to do. And that is, you might remember my new start for New Year, new start, my New Year's start. I put up a poll on my Instagram of 2 different projects, and this is the one that didn't get chosen then, but I still really wanted to do it. So this is what I'm working on. So it's by the Happy Sloth, and it's Watch the World Burn. And it's kind of I had to look up the art style. It's pop art, cartoon pop art, modern pop art, something like that. And I really like it. I think it's really cool. And it's just 3 colors, so which is easier. I have lots of DMC 310 for the black, so I don't think I have the red, but I do have the orange. So yeah, so I started it yesterday and worked on it last night and a bit today. Technically it's a work day, but I really was not feeling well this morning. Not due to birthday or anything like that. I wasn't partying on my birthday. I just woke up and was not feeling great this morning. So I took a sick day and did some sleeping. So I'm feeling better. So anyways, that's why I'm able to film. Otherwise I wouldn't be filming. But I did lie on the couch and work on some cross stitch. So this one's in my hoop right now. So I got that done. So this is sort of the corner of her hair. And I started with the edge. It's 114 stitches by 114 stitches, so it's going to be a square. And the fabric I just got, I went looking through my stash when I decided to start this yesterday, because it was kind of like a very last minute decision to start it. And I went looking through my stash, but pretty much all of my fabric that I had in stash are like pinks and purples. I do have a couple of like dark greens, which didn't really go with this. So I went to Michael's and I got this. And so it's a 14 count Aida, and it's kind of pale. Hopefully it's showing up well, but it's kind of a pale orange, pink, yellow. So yeah, that's what I picked. This is probably gonna go in my bedroom. Again, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I posted yesterday. I bought myself some art. My sister had gotten me a gift card from Winner's Home Sense for my birthday. And so I went to look around and I saw this huge piece, art piece. I don't usually buy art, like mass-produced art. I tend to like to buy either stuff I've thrifted or like this stuff up here. Well, I guess that's mass-produced. That one's from Michael's. But most of the rest of it, they're artists on Etsy. This one was, where was it from? Oh, I can't remember what this is from. It's an art website, basically. That one's from the same. That's a witchy stitcher that I did. That one is actually from, where? That one. That's from Chile. I went there 14 years ago. So that was from Chile. So that was a long tangent. Basically, I don't generally buy art from the store that is mass produced and you're going to see in a lot of people's homes. But I really, really liked this one. It's a huge piece. I posted the picture on Instagram. It's also a pop art. Not exactly like this, obviously, but similar style of a bunch of, it looks sort of like a scrap art pictures of Marilyn Monroe and vintage pictures of witches and women in cartoons and whatever. And I just really, really loved it. So it's quite big. It's like walking to my car with it. It was a big piece of art that normally I would not have bought anyways because it was expensive, but because I had the gift card, I decided to get it for myself. So it went in my bedroom and I posted a picture on Instagram. And if you look at it, you'll see I have that as well as a bunch of cross stitches that I've either made myself or thrifted, saved from Valley Village or wherever, thrift stores. And they're all I call my wall of beautiful ladies. So yeah, so this is probably going to be part of that when it's finished. So because it's my birthday, and well, yeah, it was my birthday yesterday, and I decided to start this for my birthday, I put up a hashtag on Instagram with the picture of this. And if you'd like to pick out something to work on with me for my birthday, I mean, my birthday's over, but for as long as you feel like working on it, the hashtag is hashtag FabFem birthday Sal. So FABFEM birthday Sal. So yeah, and you can tag me in that if you work on anything. If you have any cross stitch projects you're working on that have a fab fem in it, a fab female, whether it's a cartoon or a historical figure or whatever it happens to be. Just there's your idea of something to work on and a hashtag for it. So yeah, I'm going to continue working on this a little bit today probably and make a little bit of a dent in it. So that was my new start. And then I have a whole stack of stuff that I worked on. So going back to February, because now it's March, I haven't worked on this in a couple weeks because this was for February. And I didn't get a ton of work done on this one because I forgot about February until about mid-February. But I did work on it a bit, and I did get a chunk of it done. So this isn't a piece that I'm super focusing on to get done. It'll get done when it gets done. It's not, some of my pieces I really want to get done. They're trying to finish them for a specific reason, like the one for my friend, or they're something that I really, really love and can't wait to get on my wall. This one, I bought the pattern I was on Etsy, one of those like buy 2 patterns, get a 3rd one for free. And I like it. And I started it for February last year, but I'm not in a rush to get it done. So these are my flamingos. So I finished most of the dark pink down here, and I started working on some of the blue around the noses. And that's all I did. And then I put it away. I did this now. This part is almost completely done. There are some legs, very skinny legs down here that need to be done, a little bit around their faces. And I think there's one light pink still to be done in here. But otherwise, this quarter, this is 1 page, is basically complete. So I'm happy with that. I'm glad that that got done. So this will go away, and I don't know when it'll come out next. We'll see. I am going to take my needle minder off of this one though, because I don't take this one out very often, and I don't have a ton of needle minders. So I'll take this one out, and I will put it on another project that I work on more often. So yeah, so I have that. Worked on that. So that's good. I need more project bags, because I am doubling up on a lot of projects here. So this is another one that I worked on that you'll remember. I believe I showed this one last time. It's in my homemade bag. This is my Ruth Bader Ginsburg piece. So I finished, believe last time I showed it, I had finished the first page. So I just continued on. And I think the first page stopped, I don't know, around here. So I did work on it a bit. So not a lot, but I did work on it. So that's good. Also coming along, maybe she will also go up on the wall in my bedroom. I'm not sure. She is a fab femme, that is for sure. But I also kind of wanted to put it down here. Whenever there's a nice quote in something, I want it to be somewhere central in my home where people can see it. And this is a really good quote. So the quote is, "Speak your mind even if your voice shakes." And I really like that. And yeah, so we'll see. I don't know. We'll see when we finish it. And this is on a piece of also 14 count Aida from 1-2-3 Stitch. And it's Picture This Plus Jazz. So it's not going to use the whole piece. I've got a bunch of extra, so I don't know what I'm going to use the extra for. A lot of the projects I pick are bigger, but not necessarily as big as the entire piece of fabric I end up using. And then I don't know what to do with the scrap, because I don't have a lot of much smaller projects that would use, you know, a piece of fabric that's this big. Anyways, so here's my other Happy Sloth pattern, which is the Martian. I actually found the sheet, the front page. So it shows it here in a hoop, but it does give you the square or rectangular version of the pattern, and that's what I'm doing. I'm not doing the circular version. So it says, "I'm going to have to science the shit out of this." If you've seen the movie or read the book, that's the line. And yeah, so I worked on this some more. I think I was caught up to where I was trying to get with this when I put it down last week. And then I didn't work on it at all this week. So I will have to pick it up again. But once again, I think I'm missing one color in around. This is the beginning of the helmet. Get closer to the screen. This is the helmet, and then the reflection in the glass of the helmet. There's some dark gray that's supposed to be in here, but otherwise everything else is done. You can't tell there's white in here. Yeah, so this page is done. The pattern is printed on 2 full pages like this and another one like that, and then it's not as big on the bottom. There's I don't know how many down, but yeah, so I mean, not quite half done, but getting there. I'll have to take this out maybe this weekend and get caught up again. But I'm happy. It's only mid-March, and I wanted it done I'd like it done by the first weekend in July. My friend's birthday isn't until August, as I said before, so that does give me some time. I don't know if I'll see her around her birthday, though. That's the thing. So if I could get it done for then, that would be really good. And now we have another one. This one is my rainbow garden. Last time I showed it to you, I had just finished the first page, and I was deciding which direction to go next. So you can see, well, there's so many threads on this. Sorry, it's messy. Oh, okay. You can see it's, that's the first page. Let me just fold this back up actually to help block it. Yeah, so I went to the side. So I did some more mushrooms and another little ghost. And yeah, so I'm working on that. It stitches up really quickly when I am working on it. I put it away for a few weeks, so I haven't done much more. But I'm looking forward to it being done. I really, really like this one. I think it's really pretty. And yeah, it's just, this one's just on 14 count black Aida from Michaels. So I do buy the fancier Aida, and like I said, I have a bunch in stash. I just never know what to use them for unless I order them for a specific project. Like, I think the next one I'm going to show you is Supernatural. I specifically ordered the fabric for the Supernatural Sal. But then, because you're ordering something online and you're paying shipping anyways, it's like, well, I might as well get a few things. So I got a couple of other different types of fabric from 123 Stitch, but I don't really know what I'm going to use them for. So, yeah. Yes, so this is Supernatural, which I actually did get out. I think the last time I talked about this was when I did my whip parade at the beginning of January. And I had said I wanted to hopefully finish this year. We'll see. I forgot to count how many left. I did one more creature. I forgot to count how many I had left to do. I think there's another 7 left to do. So, I mean, it's possible because they're not really difficult. I think I stitched this guy up in 2 evenings plus the border. So I did the ogre. Nice and close. Yep, so I did the ogre. I didn't really change that much about it. I couldn't find the green that Witchy Stitcher had suggested, whatever the number of the green was. I couldn't find it, so I just picked a similar shade of green, but not exactly the same. I'm really bad at back stitching, and I found doing his little hairs really difficult, so they kind of look dumb, but oh well. And for this one, sorry, my throat is really dry. For this one, I'm doing anything within the pattern that is black, I do in the sparkly 310. It's a DMC Etoile. Yes, so anything that's black, so the name and these little thingies on the side and any of the black in the pattern. I also have Etoile for DMC 666, the red. So a couple of the other patterns within this, if there was red, I used the sparkly just for a little bit of extra. So yeah, so I'm getting there. Let's see the whole, back up and I'll show you the whole thing. So yeah, there it is. I have that little bit of the frame at the bottom that has to be done still. So yeah, I think there's 7 left to do. So it's quite possible I'll get it done. I didn't do everything that was part of the pattern for the frame. There was some other colors, and there's supposed to be bats. I haven't done the bats. So I think once I finish all of the creatures, whether or not I do, well, I mean, I'll do the rest of the frame. It's not going to have a big hole in the side, but whether or not I do the little bats and everything else that was part of the frame, we'll see. And then I can actually get it framed and put it up, and then it will be really nice. Speaking of wicked, I can't talk. Got too excited. Speaking of Witchy Stitcher, she posted, is it this week or last week, that I think it was on the weekend, that she's releasing another big, I don't know whether it's going to be a Sal or if it's just, it's probably a Sal. She likes to do Sals. But it's a Stephen King themed, like haunted mansion Sal. And it looks so cool. And I really, really want it. But I'm still working on this one and my chopping mall. So seeing that brings me to my final thing that I'm going to show you. Seeing that she's releasing that, I think it was released this week if you wanted to buy it, and I haven't bought it yet, but I want to do it. I promised myself I wouldn't buy it until I finished either Supernatural or the chopping mall. So I got out my chopping mall and started working on it a little bit too, for two reasons. For that, because I want to finish one of them before I can buy the Stephen King piece, but also I wanted to work on the part of the chopping mall that is devoted to the Scream movies, because Scream 6 came out last weekend and I went to see it 2 nights ago. And it was really good. I liked it a lot more than I initially liked Scream 5. I was quite disappointed when I saw Scream 5 in theaters last year. And then I rewatched it on one of the streaming services later in the year, and I liked it better. But Scream 6 I liked a lot more. I thought it was a lot, I don't want to say a lot better written, but I don't know. I just liked it more. I found it more entertaining. I was joking I went with a friend, one of my oldest friends actually, and she and I used to watch horror movies together when we were in high school with a couple of other of our friends, and we were discussing whether or not she was actually there the first time we watched the first Scream, which came out when, I think I was 12 when it came out, and we watched it when I was 13. And we couldn't remember whether she was there or not. But if she wasn't there for the initial watching, I'm sure I made her watch it another time, because I think I went to Blockbuster Video every Friday for months after I saw Scream and rented it to watch again. Every single weekend by myself. I would walk over, rent it for the weekend, watch it again until, I don't know, sometime in the next year, I finally bought my VHS copy of Scream. So I spent a lot of money renting Scream. And is it any wonder over the years of watching it so many times, because I had it on VHS and watched it all the time, and then I had it on DVD. I still have it on DVD. Now it's also on a bunch of the different streaming services. I watched it last week in sort of preparation because I knew I was going to go see the new Scream. And I have that whole movie completely memorized. And probably all of the Scream movies. Maybe not Scream 4, because I haven't watched that one as much, although I do own the DVD. Anyway, I wanted to do this. So here's my chopping mall. And so I did the little ghost face G Mobile. So yeah, this is part of a bigger, like it's a tiny little store, but the one beside it is part of the same pattern, and it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't know what the name of the guy in Texas Chainsaw Massacre is. Leatherface, that's it. It's Leatherface's, I think it's supposed to be his I want to say stitch shop, and that's not right. His, like seamstress. That's the old school way of saying it. Tailor. There we go. Tailor It's supposed to be Leatherface's tailor is in the next spot. So yes, so at least I got that done. I'm getting there. I mean, I think it's more likely that I will finish Supernatural this year versus this one, because there's a lot more detail in each of these shops than there is in each of the creatures for the Supernatural Sal. So this one's probably going to take a bit longer. And I do like how I've been doing it, which is whenever I do one of the stores, I try to watch a movie related to whatever the character is in the store that I'm working on. Although I don't know if I want to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre again. I think there's a new version or a sequel or something on Netflix. Maybe I'll watch that instead. I have seen the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm slowly working through all the classic old movies. For a while I had this thing where, and I still kind of am working on it, but I'm trying to watch, or I have been trying to watch, oh, I dropped a thread, hang on. All of the horror movies mentioned in Scream. Because there's a lot. They make reference, the original Scream, they make reference to a lot of horror movies. So I've watched quite a lot of them, and I've still got a few that I have to see. I should make a list of all the horror movies mentioned in each of the Scream movies, and then I can tick off whether or not I've actually seen them. But yes, that was a little goal of mine for a while, to see all of those movies. Two that I know of that I can think offhand that I haven't seen are, to quote the movie, what's that movie? The werewolf movie with E.T.'s mom in it. It's The Howling. I haven't seen that. And the other one I haven't seen is The Town That Dreaded Sundown. And I believe that one is on one of the streaming services. I've seen it and I just haven't watched it yet. I did watch a really good documentary. Here's where I get into movies and don't stop talking. There's a really great documentary. I believe it used to be on Netflix, Canadian Netflix. I think it's on Amazon Prime, and it might be on another one. Oh, I can't even remember what it's called now. It's about, maybe it's called Urban Legends. It's about urban legends, basically, but it is a documentarian, and he and his partner delve into 3 different urban legends and whether or not they ever actually happened. So they talk about the babysitter, a babysitter being murdered, because, you know, that's the classic from When a Stranger Calls, which is, you know, they're calling from the other, the upstairs. They're on the other end of the line. So they talk about that one, whether that ever happened before. They talk about killer clowns, which is, I mean, that's not even one movie reference. That's so many. And of course they talked about the most famous killer clown, John Wayne Gacy. And then the other one was, what's the urban legend is, doesn't really have a name. Well, I guess it's kind of the man with the hook. It's referenced in a lot of movies. They talk about it in I Know What You Did Last Summer. They talk about it in the movie Urban Legends. But it's the, you know, couple making out the car in the woods, and then they're stalked by an escaped lunatic from the asylum. And they talk about that one. And that's the one that they end up alluding to the movie, The Town That Dreaded Sundown, because even though that movie is a fictional movie, it's based off of some actual murders that took place in the 30s or 40s in Texarkana, that this town that couples were being, kind of like the Zodiac Killer, a similar style. He would attack couples out at Lover's Lane. And just like the Zodiac, they never caught him. So anyways, I believe it's called, the documentary is called Urban Legends, and it's really interesting. So go watch it. There's my movie recommendation. I don't usually recommend documentaries, but that's a really good one. So yeah, anyways, that was a really long tangent, but I do talk about horror. So as for the haul, like I said, I don't have it much real haul. I didn't buy much for working on my cross stitch other than some threads and then the one fabric for this. But my thrifting, I've already hung a lot of my thrifting that I've bought, and I'm too lazy to go take it all off the wall and then have to put it back. But I do have one thing I can show you. So this is something I found a couple weeks ago at Value Village. I think it was Value Village. But it's a little, I don't even know what it's called. It's trivet or whatever one of those things that you put on the table so you can put a hot plate on it and not burn your table. It's got glass and it's hot. Anyways, yeah, it's a little cross-stitched one. So someone did a cross-stitch, and then it looks like they mounted it on some kind of board, and then they put it into this block, this frame, with the glass on top, and then sealed it on the back. And yeah, it's really pretty. Little flowers. So yeah, bought that. I probably will never use it to actually put anything hot on because I wouldn't want it to get ruined. But it's really cute, and it's sitting in my dining room right now. So yeah, it's amazing how many cross-stitch pieces get thrifted. Because I mean, really morbid to say it, but when people pass on and their relatives, their kids take over their homes, they can't keep everything, right? So although you would think if somebody took the time to make a whole bunch of stuff, you wouldn't donate all of your parents something they put their time and effort into. But I don't know. I guess I can't expect my kids to keep all of my stuff someday. Maybe they'll divvy it up between the two of them. It's going to be a lot. I'm not a hoarder, but I am a maximalist. As you can see, this is only one wall, and you can only see part of the wall. I have a lot of art, stuff that I've collected, stuff that I've thrifted, stuff that I've made. So yeah, knock on wood, that's not for a long time, but my kids are going to have their hands full. So the last thing, hello Katie. Yes, she's sleeping with my knitting. The last thing I'm going to show you is my knitting. So the one I made the biggest progress on, or I guess maybe just the most noticeable progress on, is my sweater that I was working on, and I finished one side of it. So I did figure out how to switch colors in a row without having to cut the yarn, which is good because it's going to be a lot easier, a lot less to weave in. But there we go. There's one side. I haven't blocked it or anything yet, so it's curling. Yes, this is the top. Here's the side, and then the bottom. So this will be this side, like that. Basically what I ended up deciding, I changed my idea again. I'm making another piece like this. So you can see here where the black is. The black is double the size of each of the color stripes. So when I got to the top, I did just the size of one stripe. And then when I go to do the back, it'll be the same thing. It'll be the top will be one stripe of black. So when it sews together at my shoulder, it'll look like the two stripes. So let me stand up a little bit. So goes to like, you can see I'm wearing my sweatpants. Goes to like there. I don't know. I'm kind of making it up as I go along. So we'll see how this goes. And yeah, so it'll be like that. I'm going to make, the back is going to be one very large piece and connect it. Right now I started working on the other side, and then I think I'll make sleeves. So we'll see. It might end up being really wonky and I might hate it, but I'm trying. So we'll see how it goes. So I started the second piece, but I haven't gotten very far. That's as far as I've gotten, which does not look as long. But I guess it's the same count. But anyways, we'll see. I had almost finished it, and then I made a big mistake, and I tried to switch it out, or tried to like take it off and rip a couple of rows out and then continue. But I was having a really hard time getting it back onto the needle after I'd pulled it off, and so I ended up just tearing out the whole thing and starting over. So yeah, got that. So I'm still working on that. I just haven't done a whole lot recently. And then the last thing I'm going to show you is my blanket, and this one is coming along. This one sits at my desk so I can work on it when I get breaks from work, and it is getting very big. You can see, so I finished, you can see from there to there. That was what was the type of stitch called? I can't remember. If I remember what this type of stitch was called, I will put it down below. But this new one that I've started, I haven't gotten very far into it because I've been pretty slow picking it up. But the next one that I'm working on, it's called the basket. I'll show this side. The basket weave stitch. So I don't know if I am doing it correctly. It's looking a little weird. We'll see. It's hard to tell on such a small area whether it's working properly or not. It's easy enough to do. I'm just not sure if I followed the instructions properly. So yeah, it is getting bigger. I am almost done the second roll. That's what I've got left. Actually, that's a lot more than I thought. Yeah, so this is going to be a really big blanket when it's finally done. It's getting now to like, it's, when I stitch on it, it covers my lap and like keeps my lap warm while I'm working on it. So, which is kind of nice. But yeah, so that is everything. That's everything I worked on. Gonna be really boring. I don't have any plans. I don't have any plans to do any haul. Yeah, I'm gonna continue working on what I've been working on. I really want to continue working on my Fab Femme piece, and then I have to work on my Martian for my friend. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. And if you want to see pictures of any of the stuff I've talked about that I've purchased, if you want to see pictures of my birthday party and me all dressed up in my flapper outfit, you can check me out at Cats and Horror and Stitching Oh My on Instagram. And I will post links for everything I'm working on and anything I've talked about down here. So drop me a like, you can subscribe. Let me know if you want to see me do anything different. I've thought about doing a stitch with me. I don't know whether I'm coordinated enough to stitch and talk and not make a whole bunch of mistakes. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do that, but I would really like to do a thrift haul sometime. Maybe one of the next times I go thrifting, if I purchase more than 1 or 2 things, I'll do a thrift haul. So anyways, happy stitching. Have a great March. I can't wait for spring. I'm sick of the snow. If you live anywhere where there's snow, you probably feel the same. Hopefully the next time we talk, it will be getting a little closer to spring, a little bit nicer out. So yeah, happy stitching. Bye.